What's going on, YouTube? This is your host, Lloyd Phillips of the Life and Times podcast. What's going on, YouTube? Lloyd Phillips here. What's up, YouTube? Yeah. My name is Lloyd Phillips, host of the Life and Times podcast. Like and subscribe to this thing. Leave a comment. I love everybody. Let's get to the show. Welcome back to the Life and Times podcast. I'm your host, Lloyd Phillips. Today we have, the vice president of the podcast here. Editing vice president, manager, do it all guy, Layton. Layton, it's good to see you today.
It's good to see you.
It's so good to see Layton. Good to see Layton, everybody. We only cheer for the good ones. Anyway, so you know what I did today?
What did you do?
I mean, I know you've told me that you've only flown one time before, but just let me get your take on it, because if you haven't flown, how old were you?
It
was your honeymoon, right?
Yeah, 18 years old.
Oh, wow. You went on a honeymoon
10 years ago.
You went on a honeymoon at 18?
Yeah, we started young.
By the way, speaking of the flights that I was on today, and we'll reference all that back here in a second, but I watched the Twilight, and Edward Cullen was 18, officially 109, but 18 in the world as you see him. When he got married, Bella was 19. So it's like you guys modeled yourself after the Collins and Bella, whatever her last name was.
Or they modeled themselves after us.
Oh, well, anyway, so here's where I was going with it. I don't think that, but here's where I was going with that. If you've only flown one time, you don't remember. And what was no, you remember, but it was your honeymoon. So you're probably not. Did you speak to anybody on the plane?
No, of course, no.
Okay, well, so that's where I was going with this. I don't, because I've said these in the shows before, so I'm not going to rehash the story. I'm going to totally reference it to today. But when I used to get on the planes, I would try to speak to people like, "Hey, how are you? Where are you from? Hey, what are you doing? And I didn't even have social media back then, so the fact that I was talking to somebody, even if it was the greatest conversation ever, it was not going to go any further then, because I wasn't going to speak to him anymore, and I already knew that, but I still would talk to him.
Yeah.
And then the more I flew, excuse me, the more that I flew, the less I talked to people, because I figured out we're not going to be lifelong buddies. Even if it's interesting for the time. The reality is the more you fly, you either have music or you have movies. I watch movies. And so I actually don't, even if they're cool in the first 5 minutes, I don't want to talk to them.
Yeah.
I actually just want to watch my whatever movie. I don't want to talk to them. So today, and I've flown at this point hundreds of times, but today, I was leaving the airport. There was a weather delay in another city. I sat on the tarmac. I watched an entire Twilight. I watched an entire Twilight movie today. Sitting on after we came down the jet bridge, after we got on the plane, after they closed the door, I watched an entire Twilight movie sitting on the tarmac because we didn't fly out. Sorry for the interruption, everybody. Sorry for interrupting the show. I was just going to tell you, hey, I need you to know that people say, "Where did you get that lavish beard?" And I say, well, the lavish beard I grew because I'm a lavish beard grower. But the reason it's so silky smooth is because I use Winchester Ranch Beard Co. products. Top oils on the market. I've been using them for years, or last year because it just started. But that's why my face looks so good. Tell your friends and use that. Okay? Talk to you later. Forgot one. American Survival Co. Everybody, American Survival Co. They're the top survival school in the entire world. I know everything for my survival needs, that's why I use American Survival Co. Go check out their website at AmericanSurvivalCo.com. Get all the details and information about team building exercises and all the things that you can do. It's really an awesome place. And the two guys who own the place, they're also the host of the new Netflix show, Snowflake Mountain. And that's awesome. Go check them out. Now back to the show. Love you. So we're just sitting there for 2 hours. A whole Twilight movie I watched.
That would be absolutely miserable.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with this. So when you're sitting there, they turn the engines off when you're sitting that long, and it's just it's like in your car when you turn the motor off and you turn just the battery power on, and you have the air conditioner. It's about 107 degrees in the plane. I literally am sweating, and it's Southwest, which if you heard the last couple weeks of episodes, I got on the plane. I was finally in a higher row. You fly a little more. They put you in a, well, you got a better, you can pick your seat, better shot of picking your seat. Problem is, if the plane's full, somebody's still going to sit right beside you. What was that? What kind of weird sound is that? What are you doing?
I was holding back a cough.
Oh, my bad.
It just didn't work.
I thought you were
well.
a shapeshifter.
I didn't want to be rude and have my cough interrupt your story.
This is weird because I thought you were I thought you were shape shifting right in front of me, Jacob. I thought he turned into Team Jacob all of a sudden on Twilight. So anyway, like I'm sitting there for 2 hours in. I'm sweating. I did pick my seat. That's fine. And at this point, two things. Every time I fly, I choose the window seat. I don't choose the window seat because I got to stare at the window, which, by the way, when I want to look out the window, that's why I do it. Because if you're on the aisle seat and they got it closed, you're not in command of the window. Anyway, but I choose the window seat so I can lean against the wall. That's actually why I do it. And I'm 2 hours into this, and I'm sweating, and I'm packed in with this boyfriend and girlfriend, and I know he's like, "Hey, babe, you want to sit here?" And I didn't want him to sit there, but there's no other seats, so it's fine. And he wasn't even a big guy, which, as the last couple weeks episodes, I try to avoid big people on these things because it's going to be hot. Well, yeah, it was just hot because it was hot. It was, I don't know how many people on the plane, 140. The air conditioner was running on battery air conditioner, which, if you relate it to your car, it's hot. I literally am sweating. All that being said, I didn't say one word to that guy or his girl. Well, of course, she's on the aisle seat. He was right beside me. I didn't say one word the entire time. Nothing. And I thought, here I am, couple guys we're touching. Our shoulders are touching. Our legs are touching. We're sweating together. I'm sweating. He's sweating. For 2 hours. I've made other life connections in a 2 hour period and ended up being buddies with these people forever. I'm just saying, I'm sitting on the tarmac. We spent 3.5 hours together, touching and sweating. I didn't say one word to him. I have no idea what his name is. Don't know where he's from. Don't care. And nor did he. I just was thinking how random that thought is, how weird that is to be in that environment. And I don't even care. It's fine. Nor did he. He doesn't remember me right now. He has no idea he's being talked about on a podcast.
Yeah, in that scenario, though, sweating next to someone, I think the last thing I want to do is try to conversate with them.
Why if
I'm in an airplane,
just because you say that, give me your scenarios of sweating on each other.
No,
we're not talking.
If I can give you. I can give you one.
Just doesn't make any sense.
But if I'm in an airplane, I'm sitting in an airplane, right? And it's just parked there for 2 hours, even an hour in, and I'm just sitting there sweating. I would have probably said something.
What would you have said? Hey, man, you sweat just like I do.
No, it would have been more like, is this plane never going to take off? Or, man, this sucks. Or some kind of short talk. And I hate short talk, but I definitely would have short talked the guy.
Okay, because you said that, I didn't lie on purpose.
Small talk.
I didn't lie on purpose. We didn't have like real small talk. I took my headphones off. I took them off after an hour and 30 minutes. The Twilight movie is getting close to the end of it. And that's when I realized, like, I've watched this entire, because I didn't start it until I sat down. And then I thought, this movie is almost over. So I removed my headphone. I wear it over the ear, and I took it off on his side, and I said, "Hey, I can't hear anything. Why are we sitting here?" And he said, "Oh, rain delay." And I'm like, "Okay." And I put it back on there. That's it. That's all I said. That was all I actually said to him on the trip.
Yeah, I mean that's as much as I would have said. But going back to my original point, a hot, sweaty airplane is not where I would because I would be ticked off that I'm sitting there, and so that alone wouldn't make me want to talk to someone.
Here's what doesn't make any sense: is that I had done this a couple of weeks ago where I sat on an airplane for an hour waiting to take off. Well, excuse me. The delay was going to be an hour. And so they said, hey, guys, I know you may not want to sit here. We'll let you off for the next hour if you want off. And people got off the plane and went back in the airport and went and ate lunch or dinner and or had drinks or whatever they did. I didn't get off because I didn't get off because the guy who was sitting next, because it's still 3 seats, the guy sitting next to me, he's like, hey, I want off. Well, I didn't get off because I'm like, well, I can move now. He's not there. It's not hot. So I stayed on there instead of walking around the airport. And but today we sat there that long. They didn't pull back up at all. This is terrible.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all.
I mean, listen, if you listen to these episodes every week, you can guess where I'm at. I was in Midland. I was flying to Dallas. So even if they had let us off in Midland, have you been to Midland? No, you haven't. You haven't been to Midland Airport because you went the other direction. Midland sucks a lot. The airport.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very exciting. I mean, even when I flew, I think we had 3 stops, if I remember correctly, and I was like, this. I just didn't have fun.
Well, we won't talk about airports too much more because if you've flown one time, you don't know. But yeah. I will tell you this: even though I don't think Midland Airport is cool, I flew into Minot, North Dakota one time. Minot, North Dakota airport is literally like walking in the front door of your house. Let's remove all the walls and, any furniture. It's like walking into the front door of your house. And there's one, do you even call them a gate? Yeah, gate. There's one gate. I think there's 3 gates. Could be 4 max. And it's all in the same room.
Wow.
So like where you check in, I'm staring at people at their gate.
Yeah.
Who is 28 feet away. Like, for real, that's the airport at Minot.
See, I thought Tulsa's was puny when I first went there. And then I think it was Detroit we flew into, and it was like 8 times the size of Tulsa's. And I was like, oh, my gosh. And we thought that we had an hour. Again, we don't want to draw this out too long. But we thought we had an hour layover. And my wife was pregnant at the time, which was good. I was like, okay, we'll end here. We'll chill. Well, I wasn't accounting for the time difference.
You say your wife was pregnant at the time?
Yep.
Debauchery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. We won't talk about that on this podcast.
But we were thinking, okay, we'll have an hour layover. We'll just chill. We'll have plenty of time to get to the gate, but not accounting for the time difference. No, we got off the plane and had to be on the opposite side of the airport in like 15 minutes, and it was just stressful. I hated flying, and that's probably why I haven't flown since.
Like, because it scares you?
That plus just the stress level.
Well, you're just packed in. You're packed in a plane. There's a bunch of idiots. It's like people not everybody, but there's just like there's some odd people. Not everybody on there. Actually, most of them not, but there are some very odd people. It's like the other day. I flew in. I don't know why we're talking about this, but I flew in and there's this lady sitting in front of me, and she has a burr haircut, and she has her kid, and her kid actually didn't cry as much as I thought. But she was like every time she talked, she wanted people 3 aisles in front, to the side, and behind her to hear. Like, it was just her and her kid. So there was so she actually wasn't even having a conversation with anybody. She was just saying it out loud, but trying to like draw a conversation. But she was like, right when we landed, she's like, I prayed the whole time. I thought we were going to die. I cannot believe we did not die. I thought we were going to die. And she's not even talking to anybody. She's like looking around when she's saying it to see who can make eye contact when she can talk. People like that annoy me, like an idiot. And because I fly obviously more than she does, it's like, that is the worst flight ever. It was like a normal flight. I don't know. I'm going to educate everybody, and then we'll stop talking about the airlines. I'm sorry it drug out this far, but okay, you take off. When you hit the clouds, it doesn't matter if it's clear day well, cloudy, because otherwise you wouldn't hit clouds. But if it's a clear day, if it's a storm, if it's whatever, if there's clouds in the sky, whenever you go through the clouds, there's turbulence every time. The plane moves every time. Now, if it's clear outside and you hit turbulence, that's when it gets weird, because you're like, it's clear outside, it's turbulence, and then you're like, are we going down? Like, that's the only time you have those thoughts. But every time you hit clouds, no questions. You already know you fly through clouds, the whole plane's going to shake. It does it every time. So, like, that particular trip, I didn't even notice the plane shook outside of the clouds. The lady was crazy. She just, some people want attention. I have a podcast. Does that mean I want attention? Maybe, but not like in a stupid way, like this lady.
And make an announcement to the plane that you thought it was going to go down.
Yeah, but she was like yelling it. That's the thing. I am a loud guy, and like people who know me, they know I'm loud. I'm loud when I'm in public, but all my loud comments are with the intention of making people, like, I know what I assume I know what I'm doing. She just sounded crazy. Because she had a burr haircut. She reminded me of Brittney Spears when she shaved her head, and the whole world never thought she was normal. Like, when Brittney Spears shaved her head, nobody's like, you go, girl, women power. Nobody thought that. They were like, what is she doing?
We now know that Brittney was going through a lot, Lloyd.
God, yeah, she's crazy. But that's the thing. It doesn't matter if they don't have hair. I don't care. Like, there's plenty of you can get online. You can find pretty ladies with no hair. But Brittney Spears, she took it off in the deep end. She was crazy. She was still bad. She still hadn't got over her and Justin Timberlake. You remember those denim suits they wore together?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was the highlight of her life, and she lost it because Justin, turns out, he was pretty normal and cool. So I think she just went downhill after that.
Is that what you think?
Well, I don't know. She married that guy, Kevin Federline. You remind me a lot of him. So I'm like, oh my God, she married Kevin Federline. Well, because of your dancing skills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, every time I walk in your front door, you're like, hey, check out this dance I learned today on TikTok.
And I just bust the new one out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's got it.
I'm real big into TikTok dancing at my young age.
That's what I thought. Yeah, and you're not even that old. That's why you're still doing it. Yeah. I can't do it because I can't breathe. That's why I don't do the dances.
I did a lot of exercising and TikTok training in order to get my moves down.
Yeah, and you got to. I did. Speaking of this, I don't know if you can see it in the background. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. There's like a Bruno Mars album poking out of the top of this milk crate. Well, I didn't like Bruno Mars. Well, hold up. I didn't really know who Bruno Mars was until he was on the Super Bowl. Do you remember that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that time I didn't really know who he was. And this is not what I knew. It was cool. They started it. I knew it was exciting. He was doing the drum thing. He was playing a solo, and I knew he was a good singer. Like, I knew all that. I could watch that. It was when he did that James Brown dance move, and I'm like, this guy is the coolest guy.
Yeah, Bruno Mars is incredible.
But that's what I thought. Like, when he did that James Brown move, I'm like, who is this guy? This guy's awesome. And it was after that where I downloaded all the albums. Well, speaking of all this dancing, when TikTok started, you see these people. I don't know if that was the actual intent. Now it's became what it is, but a lot of the early I'm Famous videos were from people dancing, which was weird. That's all they did. I think it has progressed from there. But before all that, when I do those stand-up comedy shows, one of the guys that ran the comedy club, I'll just say his name because actually I think he's back on tour now and he like goes all over the world. But Nino B. Lopez, he was one of the owners of this comedy club thing. And he was a former cumbia king. And so out of Corpus, but they travel the world. Have you heard of the Cumbia Kings? And that's the thing. Like, you haven't? Well, they have Grammys, like Latin Grammys. Yeah, like they're really famous in the southern part of the world here, right? Well, Nino could do every dance, all of them, every dance. Yeah. And so I remember I'm like, Nino, hey man, can you do this James Brown dance? And he immediately just goes and does the James Brown dance. And I'm like, yeah, he's the coolest guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had James Brown, but like Nino, just because he can do those dances. I thought he was cool because he could do the dances. Nino, if you don't have a TikTok page when it first started doing all those dances, you blew it for everybody. Like
Yeah, that's all it was. It was dancing and lip syncing songs while they dance.
Yeah, who would do that?
It's cringe.
My very first TikTok video, I believe, was me running down the cart path wearing short shorts like I was Rocky Balboa. That was the Rocky Balboa music, and I was throwing punches.
That's a way better video than a dance lip singing song video.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had like 1,200 views.
Yeah, heck yeah. Hashtag viral.
I never figured it out. Now I did have a video or two, one maybe 100,000, over 100,000, but I never like really figured out. I never figured the secret out.
Yeah,
I just didn't. I got a friend, his kid, he made one video. Very first video, number one, has like 2.5 million. By the way, you know how many TikTok videos he made? 2.
Yeah.
The second one was like, thank you for watching the first video. His very first video was like 2.5 million views. Nah, I just never figured it out.
You just got to get in that algorithm.
Nah, well, earlier you were trying to get me to like spend money on advertising dollars on YouTube or whatever. We're talking about rebranding. Just so you know, on the podcast, look, everybody, this is a lifetime podcast, and I've been doing it for a long time, and I like it, and it's great. But as you know, especially if you're watching, if you're watching this now, I have a cigar in my mouth, which came from an actual picture. I was on a motorcycle trip. I don't remember. I remember what state I was in. I just don't remember the name where we're at, but. We were in Oklahoma, but a place I had never been at the time, southwestern Oklahoma. There's a big lake out there, and you can't see the lake. Like, it just looks like a field. And then when you pull up there, there's like 1,000 people. It's anyway. So we were there. I'd smoke cigars after I would get off the motorcycle after 1,000 miles, and I was just sitting there hanging out. That was where the picture came from. And I was like, it's a great picture. This should be a podcast logo. People love it. And to be honest, I still like it to this day. But what I have come to know is that you can't put it a lot of places because it's a cigar. So anyway, recently, myself and Layton, we were talking about rebranding. Do we make another logo? Do we do, so that's where we're at now. Yeah. Do I like cigars? Yeah. But I got to be honest. Do I like cigars? Yes. Do I love them? Yeah. The last time I had one, I don't know, 9 months ago, and it was probably one.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not.
Now, when I made the logo, I was puffing these bad boys a lot more than I should have, but maybe one in a year I've had.
Yeah. It'd just be fresh. A nice fresh rebrand. It'd be more, I guess, family friendly.
This whole show's family friendly.
Well, no, I'm talking about.
I just say that being fun. Well, it is, but what's funny about me saying that is
logo wise.
Well, here's why it's funny, because it's all clean, it's family friendly, and then they're like, "Yeah, kids, check this out." Smoke these cigars. I'm like, that's how I got.
You want to be cool like Lloyd?
That's how I got this cool, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. That's what all the cool kids are doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was just some thought. Well, for instance, like somebody here at the local high school, they're like, hey, does your podcast want to support the couple of sports? I would love that. But whoever asked me, they knew I had a podcast, but they obviously don't listen or watch, or because you would see it.
Yeah.
You'd see the logo. So like right then I'm like, you know what? I would love to actually do that, but I can't. And then the local university that already has some billboards up of me. I'm like, I can't, you just have to make it different.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good first run though of the art.
Oh yeah. I think it's great.
So I don't know. The view I want is the one I told you earlier. I can't even say it on here because I can't describe it, and it would take 45 seconds. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But, there's a certain shot I want.
You just hit a pose.
Yeah. When Daddy hits a pose.
Yeah, we'll just let you put a figure of that hitting a pose.
Hitting them poses.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. Which is what I originally sent to the podcast.
Like, if you made a TikTok hitting that pose, you would have been the one with those millions of views. I know for sure.
Well, I mean, you say that. We've been doing this a long time. I mean, there's like, I don't know. I didn't see it. 500,000 views on the TikTok, but it's like, you know, the kid, my friend's kid. He's my friend too, actually, by the way. And he wants to be on the podcast. He just requested this week. That's what I should talk to him about. Like, hey, tell me when you made this one video with 2.5 million people.
What was he doing in the video?
It's probably something inappropriate. I don't know, but it was like it was a big video.
He was dancing, wasn't he?
No, he was acting like he was Shaggy and Scooby. I think he played all the characters. I don't know, but yeah, a lot of people. So, what did you do this week?
I just worked.
That's good.
Practiced some basketball with my daughter because we have the basketball goal. If you guys listen to the John episode,
You show her the moves.
I showed her the moves. I dunked on her a few times. We watched a lot of LeBron James film to get her.
Well, that was the stupidest thing you did.
To get her acclimated to be a queen on the court. But I was actually, we kind of.
Well, if she imitates LeBron James, she will be a queen. Because that's what he's a drama queen on the court all day long.
I walked right into that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go
ahead.
But I've been intrigued with the Serena Williams tennis thing. So I've been watching that too.
Guess who hasn't been intrigued with that? This guy right here.
Lloyd has the worst sports takes I've ever heard.
I just am not intrigued.
She's a legend. So I mean,
she is, but she
it's entertaining.
I don't know. She's not a legend. I mean, she's a legend. But she put something out the other day. It was her quote, wasn't mine, where she said, she was referencing Tom Brady, and I could be Tom Brady and play another 10 years if I didn't have to take care of kids and do this and this and this and this and then, which I commented on the thing, and I was like, that's pure stupidity, because the reason that you can't do that is because she's in an individual sport.
Yeah.
Being in an individual sport, you have to be the most athletic person out there as the individual. Tom Brady plays a team sport, and all he has to do is throw the ball, and he doesn't run.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be the most athletic person.
Yeah.
So I felt like her comment was really stupid, because you can't play another 10 years even if you had 5 nannies, because you just physically won't be able to do it. It's an individual sport.
You have to put in well, I mean, obviously I don't know the work Tom Brady puts in, but I would think that she would have to put in a heck of a lot more work than him.
I would guarantee she has to put in more work than he does.
She runs more than he does.
I guarantee.
But aside from all that, it's just cool to see. Because she was just such an icon when I was like a kid, like a little kid.
Yeah.
Seeing her, and so fast forward till she's 40 years old, playing in her potential final U.S. Open it's just pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I mean it is, but that kind of blew. I think Will Smith playing her dad blew her whole legacy.
I forget. Yeah. So I had to.
Isn't that what he got the award for?
Yeah, I had to do. Yes, I had to do some editing in that episode, so nobody really saw or heard that. But shocker. Here's another shocker. Lloyd doesn't like Will Smith, just like he doesn't like LeBron James. Lloyd's just a hater. I love
Chris Rock.
I've come to realize
Chris Rock's one of my favorite comedians. Sucks. He's one of my favorite comedians. And
Chris Rock is a B-list comedian.
What?
Yeah. I can name 5 funnier than him right now.
We'll name them.
Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, Bernie Mac, Will Ferrell.
He's not a comedian.
I know. But I have to think.
All right. Well, here we go.
No. I'm at 3 right now. Forget the one I just said. Let me think. Cat Williams. That's number 4. Let me think of one more. Who's that dude that you had me watch?
Doesn't matter. You don't like him. So.
Well, he's funnier than Chris Rock. I can tell you that. Oh, Martin Lawrence. There. That's my fifth. Martin Lawrence is... It's not even close.
I bet if you went back and looked at stats of the comedy videos when they were doing them, Martin Lawrence, by the way, he made me laugh. I 100% thought he was funny. He made me laugh when he did those comedy shows, but he did like 2 of them.
Okay, well, those 2 are better than any 15 that Chris Rock has done. He's not funny. He's not funny. He does the outrage comedy. Like, he says stuff that's like kind of edgy and tries to spin it to be funny. And that's how he got popular, by being edgy, but he's not funny.
Like every other comedian named.
No, the comedians that I just named, yes, if they were edgy, they were actually funny, and they weren't being edgy just to get popular.
Are you guys hearing? I don't know.
Chris Rock is terrible.
This is
that.
why.
I mean, he's just so bad.
This is why, because
and he's not even a good actor.
This podcast would just be an argument show.
That's why Will Smith slapped him, because he's a terrible actor.
Who is?
Chris Rock.
He's not an actor. He's a comedian.
He hasn't acted in any movies.
Has he starred in any movies?
Yeah.
How many?
What, the grown-up movies are what, like 4? And they're all terrible.
Well, I know he starred in some movies, but
Adam Sandler, there's another one. He's funnier than him too.
Adam Sandler was actually a comedian.
I know. That's why I named him.
Famous. Anyway, listen, you don't have to hear all this. Layton doesn't know what he's talking about. He's 28. He doesn't know any better.
Guys, on behalf of...
His favorite artist is Dow Lipa or Lipa or Lipa. and who else is cool? The kids think they're these days.
That is not my
Those are his favorite. Those are his favorite people.
That is not my favorite artist.
Whatever. I mean, the stuff he says is tracking stuff like that.
Says the guy who listens to Frank Sinatra. Who even is that?
Do you just hear what he said?
Who even is that?
I wish.
Where's the? Is this the?
I wish this episode would go big when you just said that.
Who even is Frank Sinatra? I'll say it again, just in case it does go big.
You don't even know who it is.
Well, I know who he is, but he's terrible.
Who is he? Nobody
listens to that. He's the... well, I can't even sing a song because I don't know a song, but he's terrible. I know that much. You put on a song in the car the other weekend, and I was like...
let's just have a poll. I'll try to put up some kind of poll. I don't know. The polls. This is a podcast. There's no poll in this, but hey, who's better, Dua Lipa or Frank Sinatra? Nobody even knows who that is. Who you just said. Your favorite player. What's her name? Dua Lipa. Nobody knows.
I didn't even say that. You said that.
Nobody knows Dua Lipa, and that's his favorite. So
obviously Lloyd knows her because he's the one who brought her up.
Yeah, because you told me, but I don't know. I don't know who it is. He's like, oh my gosh, I love it so much.
No, you played Frank Sinatra, and I was driving the vehicle, and I almost just jumped out the car.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. We won't tell him. Listen, people, we won't tell him.
Lloyd just has bad taste, and so how we'll settle this debate is just in YouTube on the video, just drop one comment and say hashtag
Fank. Who's Fank?
Hashtag
Dua Lipa.
Hashtag Frank Sinatra sucks. If you're on my side, if you're on Lloyd's side, put like hashtag Team Frank. That'll work. And we'll see. I'm probably gonna win this, by the way.
I don't think. I literally.
Yeah, just like last podcast, the barbecue pizza and the breakfast pizza. People in great masses came to me privately because they didn't want to offend you on your own YouTube page.
Nobody did that.
Privately and said, "Layton, you're right."
Privately.
Breakfast pizza.
Nobody privately
incredible.
went to you and said breakfast.
Well, you don't know that.
Breakfast.
So
breakfast.
A breakfast.
Nobody said breakfast in private.
Yeah, they did. Well, I'm not gonna leak anything.
Nobody said breakfast in private.
I have a friend named Sarah, and I know that she likes breakfast pizza. Well, so that's one of them.
She might like she might like breakfast pizza. Pizza.
That's what you get. That's exactly what you get.
She might like breakfast pizza, but she don't like breakfast pizza. She don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, you butchered the last part that you were saying, so you can't even make fun of how I say breakfast. Here we go with the ASMR.
Anyway, listen, everybody. We love everybody here at the Lifetimes podcast. I appreciate you listening in. I can't hear lots more of the stuff that he's been talking about today. It's just really weird. And you guys listen in. I think our next listen, we got a couple people coming up here, and I'm excited about them. We just got to make our schedule work, but everybody's in agreement, so I think we'll make it happen. So we'll look forward to this Troopia and Climbus podcast. Those are a couple different, by the way. Love everybody. Put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, and let's have the greatest of weeks.